It's September 28th, 2015, and you're about to hear Arizona State Senator Dr. Kelli Ward. This is an interview with CFJ on the Ascend Conservatism show on We Are America Radio, War Radio.
To have Dr. Kelli Ward here on our show tonight to discuss her campaign to unseat John McCain in Arizona as its senator. Dr. Ward, are you there?
I'm here. Hi, CJ. It is great to talk to you, and I'm glad to be here with you and your audience, and I'm happy to talk about sending a new, fresh voice to Washington, D.C.
That is exactly what we need, and personally, I do believe you are the person to do it. Now, can you please just give us what your campaign is all about and what you want to do once you get into Washington, D.C.?
Well, you know what? I will tell you that I never thought that I would be in politics. Let's start with that. I am a military wife. I'm a mom of 3 kids. I'm a family physician, and now I happen to be an Arizona State Senator. The thing that pushed me over the edge and had to run for office was Obamacare. It's still very, 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 very important to me that we need to repeal Obamacare fully. But at this point, I am running for the United States Senate because Arizona deserves a Republican senator that represents their values, that represents our values, and that's what I am seeking to offer the people of Arizona. I will tell you that 30 years in Washington, D.C. changes a person, and if it had not changed Senator John McCain, I would not be taking this on. And I think it's obvious to everyone who's listening that the Beltway has changed John McCain, and we are not getting what we need time for new leaders to take the helm, for that status quo in Washington, D.C. to be shaken up. We have got to make change. We have to have different people there taking this country in a different direction.
That's very true, and especially John McCain has been there obviously too long. And as we can see by his liberty rating, his conservative rating is only 43%, and that's, basically a Democrat.
Yeah. There's probably some Democrats that are scoring better.
Yeah, and all you hear is Democrats praising him, and that should tell you everything you need to know about his tenure.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I think that people are tired of Democrat light. We want true conservative values. We want people there who believe in smaller government, who want this huge federal overreach that's in our lives every single day to be taken away, for the proper balance to be restored between the federal government and the state government, for our taxes to remain low, for the taxes to be used for purposes that are constitutionally determined rather than all of these extra programs that are out there that are either redundant or are not working but keep taking money out of our pockets. People do want a strong defense. They want peace through strength. They want our military to be strong, but they want our military to get out of the places where it shouldn't be. We have our military in hundreds of countries, or 138 countries across the world, for things that are not the purpose of the United States military. People want us to follow the Constitution. Please, it is so simple. If we were following the Constitution, things would be so much better. We shouldn't have to be fighting every single day for our religious liberty, for our freedom of speech, for our right to bear arms, for our right to privacy against this federal government that is reaching in every single day, trying to take those rights away. So, it's very simple what the people want. Instead, our Republican representatives, the elites that have been in Washington, D.C. for so long, are basically giving us Democrat light, and Democrat light is not working. It is taking our country down a completely wrong path. We need to take a sharp turn to the right and put us back on the path to prosperity.
Yes, and I think that the resignation of John Boehner is a very good step in the right direction.
I agree with you. That is a blow to the establishment that they did not expect. Just like David Bratt last year whenever he defeated Eric Cantor. That was a blow. I think that this is the year, 2016 is the year of the outsider, the year of people coming in and straightening this country up. And so I'm happy to be a part of that. I'm happy to be a part of the insurgent campaign to change Washington, D.C., and to to shape it up, not just shake it up, but shape it up. And I think that the only way we do that is by sending new people. We can't just rearrange the pieces on the board. We can't take a congressman from here and put them into the Senate, take a senator from here, make them a lobbyist, and expect there to be any kind of meaningful change in Washington, D.C. It's going to take those new, fresh, bold ideas. It's going to take people with a backbone. It's going to take people who are fearless to actually make Washington, D.C. different. And that's what I'm going to do when I get there.
I know. I think that's why your race is so important, because if there is the epitome of an establishment Republican, basically rhino is what we call him, it is John McCain. And I think it is very important that people know that in the last poll, you were ahead of John McCain for the GOP in Arizona for Senate, 45 to 36. That is very important. People need to get behind you.
Yes,
because
you're exactly
are definitely
right.
there.
John, this is a national race. I mean, of course, only voters in Arizona can vote, but nationally, it's very important to us to rip off the cover that John McCain gives to so many so-called Republicans to vote the wrong way, to vote against their constituents. He's there to give cover. He's supposed to be this powerful senior senator from Arizona who is utilizing that power for the United States and for the state of Arizona. However, what we see is the only time he uses that power is for himself. He's only using that power for one person, for Senator John McCain. And so we have to take this opportunity to send someone with true conservative values to Washington, D.C. to represent us.
Exactly, and Arizona being a border state, it's getting a flood of illegal immigrants, and he has done nothing to stop that. Now, what is your plan to...
Well, immigration is huge here in Arizona, and John McCain, the last time he ran in a primary, he came out with a big ad that said, "Build the dang fence." And then as soon as he was reelected, and he went straight to amnesty. He went straight to leading the Gang of Eight down a bad path for this country. And so people expect something different. People want something different. People in Arizona see the ravages of illegal immigration on our state, on everything from our education system to our healthcare system to our public safety system to our correction system. Every single entity is affected by illegal immigration. So we do have to secure our borders first. That has to be the first and foremost thing that we do. It can't be this giant comprehensive immigration reform bill. Everyone knows whenever you hear those words, comprehensive immigration reform, that is code talk for amnesty. We first need to talk about something simple, securing the border. We need to use an all-of-the-above approach. We need to build a wall in some places, but there are places that are not geographically amenable to having a wall. We have to tear up the tunnels that exist. They know where they are. We need to destroy those. We need to utilize technology where possible and where necessary. And then we do have to have boots on the ground, people at the border who are securing that border. Because please tell me, if a 9-year-old little girl from Guatemala can sneak across our border, how can we say that people who hate us are not coming across our border? You have to remember that border security is national security, and that's what we're going to strive for as soon as I get to Washington, D.C.
And that's what we need. And that is why in 2006, the House and the Senate passed overwhelmingly the Secure Fence Act.
Yeah.
But it was too late in the Congress of that year, and unfortunately Pelosi and Reid took over the House and Senate, and they defunded it immediately. Is that something that you could try to get refunded to start building the fence and end some of this influx?
I definitely think that's a good idea, as a good starting point for sure. And, the thing that's disappointing is that in 2010 and 2012, we conservatives worked very, very hard to get the majority in the House and then in the Senate. And we've got the majorities now in the House and in the Senate. And we are still seeing President Obama's policies being pushed through just as though Pelosi and Reid were still in the leadership. And so that's what the frustration is here on the ground. That's why people are so excited that Congressman Boehner is stepping down and is going to be replaced, hopefully, by a conservative. That's why people are excited about the opportunity to vote for people who are from the outside to change Washington, D.C.
Exactly. And as you mentioned about putting boots on the ground at the border, my personal idea, a lot of people have it, is to put veterans to work, put them on the board, because a lot of veterans are out of work, and they could be perfect for this job.
There are plenty of people who could be at the border, who could be helping secure the border, but there hasn't been the political will to do so. I think that tide is changing. I think that, with what Donald Trump has said, he's brought the immigration debate to the forefront in a way that the political elite and that the elite media did not want to see. It brought to the attention of the public. It has woken up a sleeping giant. People are now so engaged in the topic, and not just with immigration, but in politics in general. People who before just watched reality television are now seeing that the real reality is how politics affects their lives. And so it's great. I think it's great for our nation to see we the people waking up and taking part in the political process.
Yeah, and it's about time, because this country has suffered a lot in the past few years. And I mentioned veterans. You have done a lot of work for veterans. Can you please expand on that and what you would do in D.C.?
Well, as a military wife, my husband has been in the military for 31 plus years. I have seen that the importance of keeping promises to our veterans. Right now, we are doing such a disservice to our veterans with their health care, with their education benefits, with things that we promised them that if they signed on the line to help our country, to serve our country, to preserve our liberty and our freedom, that we would take care of them whenever they were finished with their service. And we have fallen down on the job. Senator McCain is the most well-known veteran. He's supposedly the most powerful veteran, and he has not used that power for our veterans. I think that we need to change our Veterans Administration hospitals. As a health policy person, I'm a family physician, but I also have a master's in public health with an emphasis in health policy. I've got a lot of experience. I think that we need to change our VA. Our VA should become a center of excellence for things that we see from the battlefield, on the battlefield: closed head injuries, amputations, prosthetics, PTSD treatment, treatment for exposure like Agent Orange, those kind of things. Those are the things that people should travel to the center of excellence with the best doctors in the world to take care of our veterans. The other healthcare issues that people have, from arthritis to lung disease, to, any of those kind of things could be taken care of at home by doctors that they know, by doctors that they trust. They shouldn't have to drive hundreds of miles at times to get a chest x-ray or to get their teeth cleaned or to get a knee injection, things that could be simply, safely, well done at home by people that they trust. So that's how I would like to see our VA system change.
Yeah, and I think, you would assume that John McCain, being the most well-known veteran, would be the person to do it. Unfortunately, he's been, more involved in the D.C. cocktail circuit circuit.
Yeah, it is a sad day for the country, and it's a sad day for Arizona, and it's a sad day for our veterans. But and I know that Senator McCain can't run on his record. He's out there. He has two things that he tries to sell about himself. One, that he's a war hero, and two, that whoever's running against him must be a crazy person. His record speaks for itself. He's voted for amnesty. He's voted for tax increases. He's voted for massive bailouts. He's voted for increased spending. He's voted for liberal judges. He mocked the very conservatives who wanted to stop Obamacare, calling Senator Cruz, Senator Lee, Senator Paul wacko birds. He thinks that the NSA should be able to spy on us. These things go on and on and on, and people are tired of it. I'm tired of it. That's why I am willing to give up my state seat here in the Arizona State Senate to take on this huge challenge. And I know it's a David and Goliath battle. It is not going to be easy. It's going to be hard fought. It's going to take a lot of money, but it can be done. Remember that David did win that battle, but it can only be done if people join.